Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I have a wonderful dessert recipe for you. This is bound to please anybody. It is a mix of the two most popular desserts out there, cake and cookies. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very quick keto cookie cake. This is very quick, very easy, very delicious. If you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So, while we do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Line an 8 to 9 inch round cake pan with parchment paper. You can also put this in an 8 by 8 square pan if you prefer square cookie cake rather than a circle one. How big the pan is depends on how thick you want your cookie cake to be. The smaller the pan, the thicker your cookie cake will be, so that's up to you as to what size pan there you want to use. Set that aside for just a minute. In a large mixing bowl, combine 120 grams or around 1 cup of coconut flour, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 15 grams or around 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 75 grams or around 6 tablespoons of the brown sugar sweetener of your choice. I'm using brown monk fruit sweetener. You can use whatever brown sugar sweetener you want. You can also adjust this more or less depending on how sweet you want your cookie cake. Add 75 grams or around 6 tablespoons of the granulated sweetener of your choice. I'm using granulated monk fruit sweetener. Again, you can use whatever granulated sweetener you want. And again, you can adjust this more or less depending on how sweet you want your cookie cake. Now, if you don't want to use brown and granulated sweetener, you can use all granulated sweetener or all brown sweetener. That's up to you. I like the mix of both. I like a little hint of that brown sugar taste in with my cookie cake. Also, if you are oversensitive to coconut flour taste, you can add some dry spices or seasonings to kind of balance out the coconut flour taste. That's up to you if you want to do that. Sift or whisk the dry ingredients all together until they're fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Add 3 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature so they stir in more smooth. Stir the eggs into the dry ingredients until everything is fully combined and all the dry ingredients have been moistened by the eggs. Add 1 cup of butter that's been melted and cooled. Make sure it is cooled. You do not want to add in hot butter. Stir the butter in just to combine it a little bit. Add 9 grams or around 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract or the extract of your choice, whatever flavor you are wanting your cookie cake to be, that would be the extract flavor that you would add. You can also adjust this more or less depending on how dominant of a flavor you want in your cookie cake. Stir everything all together until everything is fully combined and you have a soft, moist dough that has formed. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push the dough to the center of the bowl and form it into a ball. Then massage the dough ball in your hands just for about 20-30 seconds. This is to test the texture of your dough. It's always important to have the right texture, especially when dealing with coconut flour. If it seems like your dough is not coming together well and like chunks are falling off, then you need to do a little bit of adjusting to your dough. Here, it seems to me like my dough is not coming together as well as it should. So if this happens to you, then you need to add a little bit more of either 1 more egg or a binding agent of some sort. I'm going to be using a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum and 1 tablespoon of warm water. And I'm just going to stir that in and see how that makes my dough feel. And that seems to be coming together well the way it should be, and it seems to be holding together well. As I'm massaging it, there's no big chunks coming off or anything like that. The amount of binding agent that you have to use and the amount of liquid that you have to use when it comes to coconut flour, it can vary depending on the density of your coconut flour. Some brands are more dense and dry, so they need a little bit more moisture or binding agent. Other brands are a little bit more fine and don't need as much moisture. Then place your dough back into your mixing bowl. Use a wooden spoon and break up the dough just a little bit. Then gradually fold in anywhere from 80 to 120 grams of the keto baking chips of your choice. I used closer to 120 grams, and I also used Lily's white chocolate baking chips. You can put whatever baking chips or add-in of your choice. If you don't want to put baking chips in, you can put in some nuts or some fruit, or you don't have to put any add-in at all. You can leave it just as it is. It tastes good that way too. So that's up to you if you want to add the baking chips or any other type of add-in into your cookie cake. If you do choose to fold in an add-in of any kind, make sure when you fold it in that it gets evenly distributed throughout the entire dough. Then form your dough back into a smooth ball. Place the dough ball into your prepared cake pan and press the dough evenly throughout the cake pan. Make sure you get it as even as possible. Basically, if you use a bigger pan and you press the dough out thinner, it's going to be more cookie-like in texture. If you have a smaller pan and it's more thick, it's going to be more of a softer texture, more of your mix between your cookie and cake. Once the dough is pressed evenly, place it into your preheated oven and bake at 350 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes or until the cake is golden and a tester comes out clean. Once the cake is done baking, remove it from the oven. Allow it to cool in the pan for at least 30 minutes so it can firm up. After 30 minutes, carefully remove the cake from the pan and transfer it to a wire rack. Allow it to cool completely before slicing or frosting this. Now, if you want to, once this cools completely, leave the cookie cake just as it is and just slice your desired pieces like you would a pie. I'm just using some of Chalk Zero's chocolate syrup, drizzle over the top of it. And just allow it to sit at room temperature for about 5-10 minutes just to let the drizzle firm up a bit. Once it's firm, cut your desired size piece. If you do have any leftovers, store them at room temperature in an airtight container for up to 5 days. Then eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.